Well, hello. Hi everyone. How you doing today? Today is February 4th, 2023. My name is Michael Tomlinson. I am an American tear. Um, there's I I'm glad when I'm always happy when people strike up conversations with me randomly and public places like we're just kind of there doing our own thing and and this gentleman, older man, about 5 feet behind me, uh, started asking, and my back was to him at first, and I could hear him say, "Hey, how you doing?" And I didn't know who he's. I didn't, I wasn't facing him, so I didn't know he was talking to me. But then he repeated it again, and I look over, and he's looking at me, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you doing?" And so from that point on, a whole conversation sparked up. And of course, I ended up talking a little bit about, politics, and he was all about it, and I could totally understand where he was coming from, and not only this stuff that he was bringing up, just sounded all too familiar to me. It's just it's not even original. It's the same thing I've been hearing for, 10, 15, 20 years now from folks. So, everyone's just kind of still caught in that loop. And that's what I'm here for, to break that loop. Yeah, but that only happens when, I can help change perspective and change the storyline about what we are doing here with being an American Jew. So, and then when afterwards, I was driving away, and I was thinking, like, sometimes that stuff is just meant to be. The universe let him know, and me know, that he was ready. He was ready to hear what I had to say. And although he was, when he was talking, he was really, really respectful and just listened. So I appreciated that without kind of interjecting. But that doesn't mean his brain wasn't already raising different questions or becoming disagreeable, but not really let me know he's not sure what the heck I'm talking about. But, I was having the same conversation with him, but not in a direct way. But I was crossing paths with the past conversation we were just having, and talking about, the way, the people are seeing it right now is the same old way, and I'm talking about solutions, how to cut that down, stop that thinking, so we can move forward, because it's still that same kind of blame kind of game, and either we're blaming the people, blaming the corporations, blaming the government. I mean, there's always somebody or something to blame. And so, which is unfair, because we can't just say, well, we can say that, there's probably people that have been on government subsidy programs, like we're going in like 3 generations now, for sure, of a family who rely on that, and then their kids now rely on it, and now the kids have grown up and they're having kids, and now they're starting to rely on it, so it's you can go back 3 generations of of people, families, using the government programs to just maintain life and whatever lifestyle they can. But that becomes the long-term crutch too. It's a downfall of working poor, people in poverty already, are like half a step away from being homeless, and so half a step away from being homeless. I don't know, but you can't really do much to progress in life either, because then you'll lose that half. It's just kind of built and rigged in a funky way, you know. And I feel bad, for the people. And I really don't want to talk about the programs right now. It's really what I'm talking about is a conversation, having a conversation with someone, randomly, a stranger, respectful American. Now that is the magic. That is the real connection. That is the real deal. That is, things that have an impact. It's not like a social media impact. And this is like having an impact on someone's life directly, one-on-one. And it's just, there's a beautiful part of that process. So I always encourage people to be non-judgmental, treat people as equals, and you'll be surprised what kind of conversations kind of come out of that. And be respectful. I mean, if someone's, gonna try to make effort to talk to you, be polite. Say I didn't want. I was having maybe I was having a bad day yesterday, which I wasn't, but maybe I would have just kept it short and be like, "Hey, good," and then turn back around. So it would let him know that I'm acknowledging him, but I really am not into having a conversation. Which, we're both standing there doing pretty much nothing anyway, so it's just kind of rude unless I go back to my phone and I want to scroll through my phone like what everybody else does. But I don't do that, unfortunately. I'm not one of those phone people. You'll never find me just sitting around in some coffee shop or, some restaurant or anywhere, going through my phone, surfing my phone, scrolling through, looking at my Facebook, looking at my Instagram, looking at other people's Instagram. I don't know, and I'm just not one of those people that do that. I'm not into doing it. I don't see the point in doing it, but I can see, and not only can I see, but I totally understand, that people that do that, because I used to be like that, but we didn't have iPhones in those days. We just had personal PCs. And so the whole concept of talking with other people around the globe in an easy kind of format and platform was just all addicted to me. And it wasn't even close to being like Instagram or Twitter. It was just these little chat rooms from random people around the nation or around the globe, whom are engaging. And I just, man, I was hooked. I was hooked on it, man. And before that, I just had my, the computer, which you could go online, but it was mainly message boards back, so it just kind of progressed crush. But once you got to that point where it kind of connected uh, Americans, in its own way, was just, it was awesome. And I was addicted, just like someone would be when they get an iPhone and they start scrolling too. So I know that stuff like that uh, is addicted. In fact, you know what? That's when LOL came out. No one even knew what LOL was, like LOL, and when it first was in its baby Genesis phases, which was created by these little chat rooms, and saying laugh out loud. But it can be interpreted any other, and some people came up with their own interpretations. And it was just so much fun to mess around with people because they would come into these little chat rooms and say, what's LOL? And all you would see is everyone in the room just say low. Like, it was just like a weird head game that we all got into doing. And then laughing my ass off, and things just started expanded from there. But that's when that was like the baby phases of it all, of that internet movement. The other one was Twitter. Twitter was basically, it was the Twitterers, not Twitter itself at that point, who created like a hashtag, which it still dominates. And I'm so shocked. So I remember when the hashtag first popped up on Twitter, and it was only used for, to help define a category where people were having a conversation. I mean, it didn't have like a huge significance, except for word referral, so you can type that in, and if I was talking about, something about designing, and I really wanted people to follow my storyline, then I would use kind of like a hashtag. And that just got kind of manifested and created by the users. That was just a way to help us as Twitter people communicate a little bit quicker, a little bit easier. We didn't think it was going to be such a big deal in the future. And it did. It's become, and I still think it is a big deal, hashtags. People use that hashtag. And so it's also fun to remember, the good times too of when things were just in their baby phases, and how they were created, and how I was just kind of witnessed it, or I was a part of it. It's just fascinating and interesting to tech-wise to see that unfold. And I don't think people really know that story that I'm just telling, what I'm talking about. You kind of like had to have been involved with technology, like online, since like me, since the 90s, with that first computer I had, which was, I don't even know if you want to call it a computer, but it was a computer, and I just progressed from there. Now I use the phone, and I'm not even big on using my phone. That's what I just said earlier. I don't like to scroll to it. In fact, I knew tech so well back then that it's still, and the way it is now, even then, we were still, me and my buddies and little nerd friends were still like distrusting of the internet, and revealing our names and information, because we knew things could be taken and everything was being like stored somewhere. Whatever information they can find, what pops up with us, and so and as time goes on now, I'm tech savvy, but man, and that's why I don't use it. Is because I know, and it hasn't changed much since then. In fact, it's gotten worse. Privacy is just gone. And as American Jews, we got to resolve that. We actually got to come up with real solutions to those terms of agreement that we never read. That's like you have to scroll down like 3 pages and then just click I agree, to be a part of the platform. And to me, that just feels like it's just fair, like someone's cheating something. Or we're giving away our privacy and being okay with that. But it's just, clouded up with this whole thing of terms of agreement, which is a lot of text to read through. And then you got to understand what you're reading through. I mean, it's just, it's legal text, written by lawyers that are really savvy, witty. And, and also as American Tears, I think another goal, especially speaking about technology and the way stuff is just taken from the people, is, to me, this is, there should be no cost. Or if it is, it's very minimal, to access the internet or to go, online with your phone or whatever device you have. That is just, things have been set up already for a long time. So it's not like these companies are really, corporations are really doing anything except for collecting more and more and more and more money, providing a service that's basically costing them very, very little money. And it's probably paid for itself like 5 times over since they placed that system in, like sometime, like 10 years ago, and we started taking out analog and replacing them with digital. So, and then we're still paying. They're still wanting to charge and pay. It's like this crazy money-making scam, in a weird way that cell phone companies can get away with. And that's just, enough is enough. The prices have got to drop down so low that people are just happy to pay it. Or we just don't pay nothing. It's just a free service. You have to still buy your phone and have your phone, and so there's going to be a strong competition there with phone makers. But as far as like service goes, it should be pretty much free. Everyone from anywhere should be able to just sign in and be connected. Because there are people already making money off the data, and so if they're making money, then and and we're paying money, for a service where other people are just making money for us just being there and they're following our every move, then we should be compensated for that. We shouldn't have to pay, and if the corporations want to say that, okay, you don't have to pay, but you still have to go through our service because they want all that data. Okay, so maybe there might be some terms of agreement where it is free, but there's terms of agreement, and where they freely can, take, information from us to find out more about us or to get into our habits or spending habits or whatever they do. Because they're already doing it as it is, right? So why not make a stand as American cheaters and say enough is enough? We love technology, but it's taken from us. It's draining information from the people, and we shouldn't have to pay for that. It's like I'm giving the people money to take stuff from me, to steal from me, more money, I guess, and so it just, if you really think about it and look at it that way, it just doesn't make sense. It's just, kind of just rigged, to keep us in the game, and so we got, that's, for a lot of reasons, we Americans have got to unite and resolve these issues and conversations that I was just having just now, because there are real solutions, except no one's really throwing it on the table. No one's putting it on the table like that, like what I just did, and if I'm putting it on the table and there's no other plan on the table, then, hey, somebody's doing something about it. That'd be me, and with no other plans of solutions from anyone else, that nobody's even thinking that way anyways, In fact, well, maybe some people like hanging out in their mom's living room say, internet should be free, because they're already left everything else for free, so why would they have to pay internet, for internet too? But this would help, that would be helpful for all Americans, and I think that would be fair payment for a lot of us too. I think that's a common sense way to go. Either there's very little payment or no payment at all, but we still have to go through one of those companies to access the free internet. So it's not like they could just, you still have to use their card or, maybe buy some accessories from that company to make sure our phones are tied in the right way. So anyway, that's about it. That's about all we need to talk about today. There's definitely more to talk about in the future. And thank you for hearing me out. I just kind of jumped around from a couple of different subjects. And my point with meeting that guy is that the bottom line is that he was being an American cheater. Whether he realized it or not, just by asking me how I was doing, a complete stranger right there who had his back to him, and he still was asking me, like, how am I doing? He asked me twice. So that is a very American cheater kind of step up that I like to see, I like to experience, and I love to be a part of, and I think more of us should be like that guy, and we shouldn't be afraid to talk to other people, and especially when you're in a safe kind of environment, where no one's going to really mess with you, or if they did, there's plenty of people around anyways. And so that was one point, but also the how to come, to work on solutions, and then there's other stuff going on, and I don't even know what the heck I just talked about. Well, anyways, have a magnificent day. Peace, love. We'll talk later.